Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for the Cuckoo's Fiancee, chapters 77 and 78. When we last left our heroes, it was festival time, as Hiro had invited Nagi to this festival, but also kind of making it seem like she was going to kill either him or I if they showed up. He comes anyway because he's a horny idiot, and dying on Segua's stage is the greatest thing he could ever imagine. Anyway, all of the girls meet. Erika and Sachi and Hiro and I are all in the same place for the first time as this festival is getting underway. And then Hiro reveals there is a cosplay contest. Erika and Sachi both have kind of humorous, especially in Erika's case, takes on what Hiro wants them to do to secure a win. Hiro gives a pretty good performance. Nagi's also a judge for all this. And then I comes on stage, revealing that she is not just some, cover artist on the internet. She's a big pop star. And she kind of wows the audience with her number, and that's where we leave off, with it looking like I's gonna win. But yeah, let's jump right on into 77th Foul. Of course it was my first time. And our picture here is of Sachi lying on her bed in, workout clothes, maybe. Summer festival and cosplay contest. After a huge upset, who will claim victory? And we open with articles about the event. Mochizuki Ai face reveal. Starlet makes stunning debut at Summer Festival. Trending now, Mochizuki Ai secret identity revealed. Finally revealed. We see some a group chat. Oh man, she's super cute. I wish he didn't do the face reveal, but she's cute. Mochizuki Ai's song Short Circuit is so good. I just saw her performance. Yada yada yada. Everyone's just sort of raving about Ai. And then we come to Nagi, who's reading through all this. On the day of the festival it began, the news about Ai-chan became the talk of the town. So I guess we're not actually going to see the results of the cosplay contest, because this looks like it's sometime after. The fact that Nagi says, on the day of the festival, that's a different day than the day he's living, implies that there's been some separation between then and now. Either way, even I was surprised to think that Ai-chan was such an amazing person. And then he flashes back to what I said after the darts game. I love you so much, Nagi-chan. And Nagi gets all flustered, flashing back to that. And then someone calls out to him, hey, hurry up. And it's Sachi. They're at the amusement park. Does that mean that Sachi won? Or did I win and, she just didn't care about the prize? Let's go, Nagi. And Nagi sort of sighs looking at her. Kind of embarrassed, I think, about focusing on Ai. Are you looking at Ai-chan's articles again? Are you that interested? Of course. And Nagi defends himself. Of course I am. She's my childhood friend. You've been too, even just yesterday. And Sachi kind of caught there, backs off. All right, I get it already. More importantly, I didn't think that you'd vote for me. And Nagi sort of embarrassed there. Well, that's because I felt sorry for you. I don't know why you would. I also don't know why you'd vote for her in the first place. She kind of had just the worst costume. That was Erika's game to win. All I'm going to say on that. The crowd chose Ai-chan. Seguwa-san's mother chose her own daughter, of course. And Shion was guaranteed to pick Amano-san, right? Oh, so he figured that no one else was going to vote for her. And finally, the last vote goes to... And he holds up a sign for Sachi. It's a four-way tie. Everybody wins. So I guess they all won tickets? And Nagi sort of looks away embarrassed. I felt like if you didn't get a single vote, it would just become a pain in the ass. And Sachi looks at him, what would? And then Nagi brushes it off. It's nothing. And then all of them kind of flash back to... Or he flashes back to all the girls' reactions to the amusement park tickets. Erika reacts, amusement park tickets? I'm good. I can just go whenever. And Hiro kind of brushes it off. I think since Sachi-chan's the youngest, she can have them. And I sort of grins, well, I'm a special case. And Sachi sort of thinks, so basically I won because of my natural charm, right? And Nagi flashes back to her display during the competition. Natural charm? Yeah, that's really not what he just said, Sachi. And then Sachi sort of hits Nagi in response to that for some... It's clearly meant to be a tsundere bit, but I'm not quite following it. Sorry, it's so fucking hot in this apartment. There is no AC, and I am fucking melting, so I'm gonna look miserable all day until my AC comes in on Tuesday. But anyway, moving back to the chapter, for some reason, just the words, I think it's just the doubt that she has natural charm causes her to whack Nagi. But all my friends from class are either busy with cram school or summer assignments. In the end, I had to come with you. I hope that's the only reason you came with him and not your fucking incest shit. But Nagi tells her, you should be studying. And Sachi laughs it off. I'm just taking a breather. Well, I'm happy as long as I get to ride the rides. So, where's the roller coaster? And Nagi looks down at the brochure. Even if you ask me. Well, since you were gracious... And then, Erika, or Sachi, sort of goes on, well, since you were graciously allowed to tag along with me, you should have at least planned a route. And Nagi gets on to her, what? Heck no! And then he puts the brochure away. The roller coaster is all the way in the back. Oh? Well, then let's go! And then I guess they just gotten off of the roller coaster. We see their hair is both kind of windswept. That was so much fun. My hair's a mess. But we see Nagi's hair looks a lot messier than hers does. And he's just kind of silent there, staring at her. And he kind of pats his hair down. What's next? And then Sachi looks back at him. That was unexpected. I thought that you'd be bad with thrill rides. And Nagi gets on to her. I'm not saying I'm good with them either. And then Sachi's fucking them up for some reason. Sachi then says, let's do the spinny thing next. Then Nagi points them out. The teacups are in that direction. And then... Oh, so that's kind of stuns Sachi. I think the teacups are kind of seen as a romantic thing, right? So that sort of stuns Sachi. Maybe she was referring to a little bit more of a thrill ride, like the kind of thing where you're like pressed to the wall, right? Maybe that's what she was referring to, and not really expecting the teacups there. But Nagi looks back at her. What? You scared? No, I'm not. And then she sees something. We got to do this one. It's some kind of ride. The text is not translated, so I don't know what it's supposed to be. It looks like the kind of thing you're awful with. And Nagi's sort of shocked. And Sachi gets on to him. What? And Nagi looks away. Nothing. Actually, don't you think with this maze-like attraction, you might get lost and not be able to find your way out? And Sachi sort of gets a little huffy there. Speak for yourself. Race you, and she dashes off. Hey! And then, it's like a hall of mirrors. Is it the same amusement park from that scene with Sachi way back? Or not with Sachi, with Hiro, way back when? Because she had a big moment in the hall of mirrors a long time ago. I'm curious if this is the same place. And now he's a little bit uncomfortable here because of that Hiro scene 50 chapters ago. Huh? Now Sachi looks around shocked. Holy, what's this? There are so many of me. What's going on? Where's the exit? And she hits a mirror. Huh? This was a dead end? No way. And she flashes back to what Nagi said. You might get lost and not be able to find your way out. And then Nagi gets right up in her face, kind of taunting. I imagine that closeness is because that's a reflection. But it's very sort of the devious grin Nagi's got going on, taunting, you look like you're in trouble. And Sachi blushes, backs up, huh? The exit's right behind you, And Sachi's shocked that she got so scared so close to the end. And she looks back, Amu, did you think I was right in front of you? Oh yeah, so we see, right, that the Nagi on the top of page 13 is behind her. Gotcha. Do you think I was right in front of you? You totally fell for that. I told you so. You wouldn't be able to find your way out. Was it scary? And then we see Sachi's kind of quiet there, eyes covered, her mouth looks like it's kind of quivering, and Nagi extends his hand. Don't be mad. Come on, let's go. And then she smacks Nagi's hand away, and he kind of holds it. Ouch! And Sachi gets on to him. You've been here before, haven't you? Yep, it is the same one with Hiro. And Nagi's kind of taken aback by that. You came here with Hiro-san, didn't you? And Nagi kind of looks away. On the roller coaster and through the maze. You've done it all before, haven't you? So we're coming up near the end of the chapter, and this feels like when that title line, of course it was my first time, is going to come in. I'm curious if that's going to be Nagi lying, or if Nagi's going to go on with something like, you mean this wasn't your first time too? And then she says, of course it was my first time. I don't know, we'll see. You should have told me. Why didn't you tell me? And then Nagi says, if I told you, you wouldn't have anyone else to go with, would you? Which is a weird statement, because, that's not really how amusement parks work. People go back to amusement parks. Unless there's like a different cultural thing in Japan. I don't know. But we see Sachi sort of like quivering again. And then she flashes back. Then back then, had you been kissed before too? And is that like mid-20s when they had that moment, the just pretend that didn't happen? The first chapter on cat manga, fun fact. Like, is that what she's referring to? Because I forgot the details of that moment, honestly. But Nagi sort of stammers, that was, of course that was my first time. And he kind of turns away, well, it was just an accident, okay? But as for you, I bet you've already done that tons of times. And Sachi gets our big money shot, surrounded by the Hall of Mirrors. The mirrors always give a good effect for these shots, even if I don't think they quite actually work in real life. Like the way we have the two mirrors right in front of each other, both reflecting Sachi. Anyway, she says, it's you, Nagi. You were my first. y'all know my thoughts on Nagi Sachi. Y'all know I know it's trash. But here it is again. Another fucking Nagi Sachi chapter. And it's just like, the weird thing about this chapter is that it's such an awkward transition. Like, we go from talking about the amusement park, and then all of a sudden, we're flashing back to the first big Nagi Sachi moment 50 plus chapters ago. Like, what's the connection there? It's the flimsiest of connections I've ever seen. Either way, Nagi's sort of stunned when she says that, and she looks at him, why do you look so surprised? Well, it was just an accident, right? And then we come to later that day. They're out of the Hall of Mirrors. Sachi's kind of relaxing at a bench. Nothing really came of that confrontation. I'm exhausted. And Nagi looks at her, are you done yet? If we don't get back soon, Amino-san's... And Sachi has this image of Erika having no idea how to cook, like dying on the floor. I'm so hungry, I'll die. And Sachi sort of brushes that off. I know, but... And she kind of takes her feet out of her shoes. And we see, like, blisters around her ankles and around the, like, I don't know what it's called, like the ball of the foot, I think? Like, she's wearing shoes she's not really used to. My feet hurt. And Nagi kind of gets on to her, geez, why are you even wearing shoes like that anyway? Don't you always wear sneakers? Yeah, I'm going to go on the limb and say that she lied about all of her friends being busy. This is an elaborate sibling date. Also, I'm not entirely sure that sneakers would go with that outfit she's wearing. It'd just be a really weird choice. Either way, Nagi gets down to, like, give her a piggyback ride home. Come on. And Sachi's kind of stunned. And then Nagi goes on, come to think of it, we've done this before too. A long time ago, right? That time we all went to Destinyland with Mom and Dad. And we see Sachi sort of like curled up on the ground. Nagi runs towards her. There you are, Sachi. Oh no, this is Sachi speaking. I got lost and you came looking for me. And we see that Sachi's like knees are skinned. I fell down and twisted my legs. I can't walk. And Nagi gets down to the exact same pose he's in now. Come on. And Nagi gets on to her. It wasn't just that time. It happened a lot. And Sachi sits for a second and then sort of like grins devilishly. Is that right? This is embarrassing, so up to the exit is fine. I think it's Sachi's line. And then Nagi just says, I'm taking you home. Huh? It's nice to be spoiled sometimes. Next time, Nagi's position is compromised. Alright, I don't like this chapter. Let's go to 78 first before I talk about why... I mean, y'all know why I was never going to like 77. Y'all know. But anyway, 70th Foul. Just how did this happen? August 31st. Okay, so this is actually the first time we've had a date. I think a specific date since the villa in like chapter 50 when we saw Erika's brother's like game data. So, today is the last day of summer break. I think this is Erika talking, because we see Nagi and Sachi. Nagi's like lying on the couch with a book. Sachi's studying on the floor. Alright, Summer's over. Thanks, everyone. Time for a wrap-up party. I feel like she's, like, talking to a stream. That's the vibe I get. And then, instead of a wrap-up party, we see Erika surrounded by books. Wait! Like, on the floor, she's, like, weeping. How could this happen to me? And Nagi looks at her without an ounce of pity in his eyes. This is the fate of people who don't do their homework. And then Erika kind of goes on, one can finish their homework tomorrow. It's like in air quotes. However, the last day of summer is but today. And Sachi just looks at her disappointed. Don't say scummy stuff like that like it's a quote. And then Nagi turns to Sachi. That goes for you too, Sachi. But then Sachi gets up with a kind of grin. I've already finished all my summer assignments. And with this like little giggle, Erika's like crestfallen, like literally shaking. Don't leave me behind. And Nagi looks up at her. That's pretty new. Yeah. I've got goals now, too. And Nagi sort of, like, looks at her, smiling, happy that she's, like, bettering herself. All right. That's the kind of, like, vibe that their dynamic should have. That with a bit of teasing. It does not need to be romantic at all. Anyway, we cut to the two of them, Nagi and Erika alone. Nagi's just reading, probably not even his homework, just, like, reading for fun. And Erika is trying to work, or is seemingly trying to work, but, not trying too hard. Summer vacation, gone in the blink of an eye, and Nagi just doesn't even look at her. Yeah. If only it could always be summer vacation. I could stay up late every night, and I wouldn't have to go to school. Nothing to feel guilty about, And I could go hang out with Sachi-chan and Hiro-chan all the time. And Nagi looks at her, just like abject disappointment in his eyes. Classic grade schooler mentality. But the pièce de résistance has got to be Ai-chan. Like, I was so surprised. And Nagi just sort of turns back to his book. Yeah. And then Erika swings back towards him, this, like, grin on her face. And Nagi's like, oh boy, here we go again. So, Short Circuit. Don't you think she wrote that song with you in mind, Nagi-kun? And Nagi sort of freezes. What? Oh, you know how it's a love song, right? About that kind of overflowing love? It's like she wrote down her feelings of all the days that she couldn't see you. And Nagi sort of looks away. Well, even if you ask me. And Erika goes right on. Ai-chan's a real hot topic right now. On the internet and on TV. And then Nagi sort of looks down at her. Aren't you kind of the same deal, though? As if. Compared to Ai-chan, I'm just second fiddle. You really aren't on social media, are you? You're so out of the loop, it's offensive. And Nagi's sort of like taken aback by that. Am I really? So yeah, if there's any connective tissue between these two chapters at all, it seems to be that it's continuing the fallout of Ai's reveal back in 76. But anyway, Erika just like turns around, forget it, time to study. And Nagi looks at her, did I trigger her? And then time passes, and now is the night, and we see Erika now in like what looks like a track star attire with like a sash. Amino makes it to the finish line. She finally arrives at the end of the extraordinary journey that is summer homework. Victory! And Nagi gets on to her. If you'd just done as I told you and finished early. But Erika counters, there's no sense of accomplishment in that. And then Nagi sort of looks at her, almost like disappointed with her existence. And did you really have to dress up for this? And Erika like takes pride in her outfit. Live life to its funnest. That's my motto. And Nagi sort of looks down at her, and then she looks up at the clock, and it's around 11, like a bit past 11. Hold up, we've still got time. We can make it. It's time for our summer vacation wrap-up party. Come on, let's do it. And Nagi, he just ignores her. Oh no, we won't. What time do you think this is? I have to get ready for tomorrow's review test. And we see this like intensity. We see this intensity in Nagi's eyes. Erika's just kind of stunned. He's already in battle mode. He flips fast. And then we cut to the next morning, it's opening ceremony. The new semester is starting, and Nagi hears, hey, morning, and it's Shion, who comes around like arm over his shoulder. Hey, Nagi, you finished your homework? And Nagi just like doesn't even look at him. Has anyone not? And Shion is just in tears after that. I haven't finished mine. Okay. And then Shion goes to his own locker, starts putting stuff away. More importantly, Ai-chan was amazing, wasn't she? Even Hiro-chan was in charge of the festival. Didn't know that Mochizuki Ai was your childhood friend this whole time. And Nagi just kind of walks away. Neither did I. What? Really? How? So that's actually a bit of a question, though. Is it just that Nagi hadn't really, he's kind of not paying attention to pop culture, so he doesn't know that Mochizuki Ai is the singer of this popular song? Or is it more that Mochizuki is like a stage name? It's not her real name, her real last name? I don't know. Either way. What, really? How? And then Shion thinks for a sec. Wait. Nagi, you're super tan. You the type to go all out for summer? I mean, we can't really see that because he still looks white in the black and white, but I guess he's tan. Anyway, we come to Class 2A. Everyone's taking their test. 5 minutes remaining. And Nagi looks down at his skin, and I guess it's like... So we have two panels here. In the... Not the top left corner, but like... Even with the top right... Even with the bottom of the top right panel, right? We have two shots of like one at Nagi at a distance and one close up. And the one with Nagi and the one with Nagi at like mid-distance, he looks white. Like pure white as the page. There's maybe a tinge of darkness when we get that close-up look, but it's a stretch, I think. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Like, it's maybe there, but I might just be seeing things. He doesn't look terribly tan. But Nagi just keeps thinking, this year for summer, I went outside quite a bit, didn't I? And then we have, so yeah, it's sort of, this chapter, I don't know, I kind of want to go back to that concept of the wrap-up party, right, that Erika brings up at the beginning. And we don't actually get a wrap-up party, but this chapter is kind of feeling like a wrap-up for the long, long summer break. I forget when exactly the summer break started. It's been so long. I mean, like, definitely, maybe the study camp was summer break. I'm, like, scrolling through the chapter titles on Cat Manga, and I'm just not quite sure when summer break started. It's been a long time, though. Anyway, back to the chapters. The next day, I'll be returning your test now, and Nagi sort of, like, thinks to himself, heh, to be completely honest, I've got this test in the bag. And the teacher reads out, I never thought we'd have two people in first. Umino, Seigawa, both first with the same score. And everyone's kind of stunned that Nagi has caught his way up to the top without any sort of Hiro being kind of out of it or anything. He is now even with Hiro academically. He's not beating Hiro because I don't think she's like at 100%. Either way, Nagi kind of looks at Hiro. He's not really had a good talk with Hiro since Hiro's big Higurashi moment in 74. But he looks at her, and she looks back at Nagi with this, like, evil grin on her face. You still can't beat me, boy. And Nagi looks away. But as for the question of my relationship with Seigawa-san, and these two girls come up to Hiro, that's amazing, Hiro. First again. But Hiro kind of brushes it off, but it was a tie. That's still first place. I guess this is another solution. Though I don't think she'll accept this at all. And we see, like, the competitive... Hiro's, like, getting into competitive mode. You can kind of see. And then we hear people talking, it's over. Or no, that was not a good voice for that at all. It's over. Summer's over. Yeah. And we see some guys just, like, talking around Nagi. Did you go anywhere for summer? I did fencing in my room and slept, I guess. I did nothing but play games. And Nagi flashes back to the time Hiro was staying with them. And they were doing, like, the ghost games. Let's all do Kokiri-san. Together. And then Nagi hears these girls talking off to the side. We didn't get to go to the beach this year even once. We didn't even get to do fireworks either. And we flash back to the villa trip. Look, it's the ocean. And I think that's doing the fireworks with Erika in particular in 69, I think. Wow, they're so pretty. And yeah, we're seeing more of Nagi just, like, reflecting on everything that's happened in the past couple of months. And yeah, we have this, collage of all these big moments. Eyes unveiling. We see a money shot with Sachi that might be her fake date, I think. When Hiro came to live with them, I think that's going to the Umino's place after meeting Ai again. Some date with Hiro, it looks like. The Hall of Mirrors from last chapter. Erika in, like, a fox getup. Erika's fucking bunny onesie. Good shit there. Karaoke with Hiro. Hiro's dance at the cosplay contest. Something with Erika and Hiro I can't make out. And Ai's little heart from 73, I think. But yeah, just all of the things that he's done over the past few months. It really is a bit of a summer wrap-up party this chapter. And Nagi kind of realizes first, and like all of a sudden, could it be that I actually had a really satisfying summer vacation? What was last year like? And he kind of flashes back to studying, and then his mom calls, Nagi, come help out for a bit. He's doing dishes, taking out the trash, and then just thinks, I have to get back to studying. And Nagi sort of looks out the window, continuing to like ponder, I guess this is one way to spend summer vacation too. And he just looks out the window. I think that looks kind of like a money shot, if I'm being honest. It's a very, very unique money shot, I will say. Like, the focus is just Nagi looking out, almost like he's not even really looking at the clouds, though the clouds are kind of our focus for this money shot. He's just sort of thinking about everything and nothing in particular. And then he's sort of kind of gets this small smile, thinking back on the past few months. And then he hears some more talking. No way, really? No, that's gotta be... And everyone looks around, kind of glancing over towards Nagi. And Nagi looks kind of concerned as the Rando Gang, whose real names we learned back in 76, and then I promptly forgot them. I think Nagi called them Rantaro the Rando and Noburo the Nobody. I'm going to stick with that for now. Rantaro, Uminoshi, what's the meaning of this? This is absolutely a huge scandal. They're both kind of like holding their phones up at Nagi. What is? And then Shion bursts in. He's clearly like in the middle of something. He's carrying a ladder. The TV! Turn on the TV! And he's getting the ladder so he can get up to turn the TV on. And he turns it on. And it's a news segment on I. The class gets on to him. Get down, Asuma, we can't see. Oh, come on, there was a lot of work getting this ladder, you know? And then we see they're talking about I. Who would have thought that such a hot artist would reveal such a passionate love? They're about to find out that she's got a thing for Nagi. The whole class is. What? The person in question is a second-year high school student attending M Academy in the city, who we will call Yu-kun. And we see no one else would ever work out who that is, though, because Nagi looks kind of bland. But the whole class, especially the second-year students at M Academy, all instantly realize who that is. Oh, sorry, that was my medicine alarm that I forgot to turn off before doing this video. Anyway, the Rando Gang, isn't that Uminoshi? And the crowd all reacts, that's just Umino. That's Umino-kun, isn't it? And Umino is very clearly getting really uncomfortable at all this attention. And Nagi just looks away, visibly sweating. No, it's not. And the crowd just reacts, no way, that's gotta be you. M Academy? That's us, isn't it? Hold up, that picture is literally the same. And Nagi just gets mad. Just how did this happen? The two have known, the news report goes on, the two have known each other since youth and been childhood friends since. Due to Aistan moving away, they have been separated for the meantime, but they have been reunited. I'm glad I did not reveal that he was engaged on that TV show, because that would be it would be a really bad move for I to drop on this class. She's in love with Nagi, and Nagi is engaged to Erika. Anyway, the announcer goes on, just gossiping about a teenager's crush, which is super not cool, by the way. We can deduce Ai-san's feelings from her song Short Circuits. Also, it's not always a great move to, like, assume that a person's work is, like, indicative of themselves in some way. I once tried to do that with Jane Eyre, I think. And my Bronte professor, like, read me the fucking riot act over that. So I'm always very kind of on pins and needles with that as a concept. Either way, one of the reporters goes on, if these two individuals in their teens were to get married, I believe they would have quite an influence on society as a whole. Don't encourage teen marriage. They're a model couple for the Reiwa era, make no mistake. And Nagi is just back at his locker, and for some reason, society itself has blessed our match too. Would this be what they call Reiwa energy? And he looks outside, and he sees a film crew set up. Just in case, let's take the back gate. And then he steps on an envelope, and he looks down at it. And it's another letter to Hiro, which is from Hiro. Just as unreadable as it always is. I think it says, to Umino-kun, I'll be waiting in the guidance office, Sagawa Hiro. And Nagi looks at it, Sagawa-san? And it comes to the guidance office, and we see Hiro just standing there, standing at the window, leaning out, just looking. Very similar to what Nagi was up to earlier in the chapter. After seeing this Nagi movement, what feelings lie in Hiro's heart? And that's our 2 chapters. Okay, first thing, 77 sucked. Don't want to talk about it. 78 had a lot of interesting things going on, so I'm going to talk about that. 77 was just Nagi Sachi trash. Y'all know how I feel about Nagi Sachi trash. There might have been a couple of good gags in there that I might bring up if this were just a 77 video, but I don't want to go back to 77, so we're just going to talk about 78. And 78 is very funny. It's very clearly like 2 separate stories going on. There's this bit of, the classic like summer vacation homework gag. Erika hasn't done it. Nagi kind of gets onto her for it. There's not a whole lot interesting going on here. There is a bit of continuing like the next third of this chapter's theme of looking back on what's just happened, or like reflecting on the summer. As, Erika talks about having a wrap-up party, which parts of this chapter kind of function as. She talks about, she reflects on the whole eye reveal, which I initially thought was just continuing the fallout of the eye reveal, as we're only 2 chapters since then. But given the rest of this chapter works as kind of a wrap-up for the whole summer vacation saga, so to speak, I do kind of get the impression that it's more in that vein. Or it's maybe a bit of both, I'd say. Both fallout from the eye reveal and also a bit of, looking at the summer as a whole. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, and I'm almost out of water, so everything hurts now. And it's really hot. Anyway. But yeah, with that, we get the gag of like Erika sort of turning into her runner's outfit. She tries to have the party and Nagi just shuts her down. Those are both some good gags. And then we move into summer break, or the next semester. Nagi, the test doesn't give us much to work with beyond just kind of now Hiro and Nagi are tied academically as opposed to Nagi being right behind her. So that feels like a metaphor for development in their relationship. But then we get to what's kind of the focus of this part of the chapter is Nagi's reflection. As he kind of acknowledges that like this is kind of the most fun, one of the more satisfying, probably the most satisfying summer of his life. Even if he doesn't quite put it that way, he puts it as a really satisfying summer and a really satisfying summer vacation and not on quite that pedestal. That's definitely the vibe the whole situation gives off. He's kind of stunned to realize how boring his last summer was. He doesn't quite like write it off. He only describes this past summer as one way to spend summer vacation too. But it's clear this is something he's spent a lot of time. He's starting to consider more. There's more to life than studying, which is I think an important development for him. But it's telling, I think, that the money shot for this chapter doesn't go to the big Ai and Umino reveal, sort of setting up whatever's going to happen next. The money shot goes to Nagi reflecting, and I think that's important for like how important his reflection is to Nagi as a character. He's growing in differing ways in the rest of the cast, but he's learning to like loosen up a bit, I think. And we've kind of seen that over the past however long the summer break was. Again, I really don't know when summer break started. I don't even remember the first semester ending. But anyway, after that, Asuma comes in and he's like, hey, there's a news segment on Ai and her crush on a mysterious boy whose name starts with U and looks a hell of a lot like Nagi. I will say, I love Nagi's desperate, no it's not, and he's like visibly sweating. That's a good bit. And now Nagi's kind of panicking. There's a crew outside hoping to snap pictures of him. He's the subject of the paparazzi in a way not even Erika has. As Erika brings up earlier, which I think is important given how this chapter ends, she says, I'm like second rate compared to Ai. Ai is a hot shot, and I'm like she's a hot shot singer, and I'm like some influencer. There's not really much of a comparison there. So yeah, Nagi especially, like not even Erika might be ready for that kind of paparazzi. Nagi certainly isn't. But before we can deal with that, it's a letter from Hiro, who I'm guessing will want to talk a bit more straight talk about I. They kind of danced around the subject back in 74, leading to the iconic Higurashi moment. But now, this looks like a quieter conversation. Not only is it not Nagi kind of barging into Hiro's space, Hiro has invited him here. She doesn't have the knife out anymore. She's kind of like calmly watching the breeze in what looks like an echo of page 15. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff here, especially in 78. Let's not talk about 77. And I'm curious to see how all of this will kind of continue to expand in the future. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!